Welcome back, and we're resuming now with Windows and Current Affairs. And right now we are joined by Dr. Sherif Al-Khoraibi, a member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs, and we also have with us Dr. Hussein Shoriba, the political analyst. Welcome, gentlemen, and good evening, Dr. Al-Khoraibi. We were talking about the GCC and the U.S. Gathering in the Camp David summit now, and among the topics that we were talking about is the main concerns of the GCC countries, the 6 countries. The U.S. and the 5 other nations are working to finalize a nuclear deal, of course, the 5+1, P5+1. They are finalizing a nuclear deal with Iran, trying to stop Iran to pursue the nuclear weapons that they are trying to achieve in exchange for easing the sanctions that have been choking the Iranian economy for years and years. But it seems that the nuclear deal will not be the only difficulty or the only unease for the GCC countries in the coming future. It is the threat that Iran is rising, has a rising influence, and then easing this nuclear pact and also uneasing or easing the sanctions on Iran is going to embolden its power more and unlock billions of dollars that Iran might be using it to support the jihadist militants. For example, they are supporting the Houthis in Yemen. So there is a great concern for the GCC with that part of Iran and easing the sanctions on Iran. How do you think this difficulty is going to be resolved in the summit, and how do you think the U.S. administration, the current administration, is going to solve it with the GCC countries?
Okay, actually the approach for the GCC countries, which is they are trying to make Iran not to be more strong or by trying to stop removing sanctions against, or by trying to stop Iran of getting their money, which is already outside Iran, and of course they are going to get it back, as you just mentioned now. Frankly speaking, this approach, this approach is not the proper one. Instead of looking to make my, let us say, enemy to be weaker or weak, why not to make myself stronger? And this is exactly, I think, the topic which has been discussed today in Camp David. They want to make some alliance with Americans, I mean GCC countries, to be very close for members of NATO. And this will facilitate to give them a modern weapon, even whenever they wanted to get it. It doesn't need any negotiation, just as they can cover, and of course they can cover, they have a lot of money. So this is the only way, is to make themselves strong. So to be strong is going to avoid any threat from Iran side. This is the only way. But to concentrate, not to remove sanctions, not to do this, not to do that, related Iran, forget about Iran, because Iran, it is a regional superpower, and of course after removing sanctions it will add more power, financial-wise and of course military-wise. So if we look at it in by this way, so we'll start to have some fearing and we'll never reach to our objective, which is already in our holy book. وَعُدُّ لَهُمْ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُم مِّن قُوَّةٍ وَمِن رِّبَاطِ الْخَيْلِ. It means we should be strong, not to attack the others, but to threaten the other. If they attack us, we have the power to react strongly and powerfully. So this is the only approach which the GCC countries should follow. And I just heard now in the news in my way to here that United States are studying right now this alternative to make GCC countries, very close to the NATO members, by giving them weapon, modern one, quantity-wise, whatever they want. And this is the only way to make the balance between GCC and Iran. Related regime in the United States right now, this regime is in the final stage. And of course, Obama has another very few, or very little time. And of course, he
Is it 18 months, I guess?
Yeah, almost 2
something
years.
like this,
Almost 2 years.
less than 2 years.
Yeah, almost.
So, and of course, Obama he has a lot of internal problems. Also, he has his problems with Russia. He has the economical problem with China. So he has a lot of problems. So I can't see that this regime can support GCC more than what I just said now. To give them weapons, to train their armies, to make them, one step ahead of Iran related the type and the quantity of weapons. This is the only way. But to make strategic, decisions or whatever, or to make, or to be in just in the face of Iran and to try to make anything against, even this one they can't do now, because the other fifth countries which they are negotiating with Iran, they reached to the compromise. So the United States can't stand alone.
The permanent members of the Security Council?
Exactly. I know, 5+1, these 6 nations in negotiation with Iran. So already the compromise or the agreement, it has been already done. What is remaining in, I think, 2-3 weeks, it's going to be signed. And Obama is considering this a very big achievement, which I don't think so, because Iran is already reached to a higher level related to nuclear activities. So I think they will, after reaching to this agreement, after 1 or 2 years, Iran will surprise the whole world that they have the nuclear weapon, and this is, of course, is not accepted. So we are going to have another countries in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, like Egypt, like
another country after Israel that has nuclear activities.
This is even Israel now and the Iran in the way. So it is not good to have, this to reach to the nuclear weapon in this very small and hot area. So the regime in the United States, you cannot expect a lot from them, only this very small thing, to give ultra modern and very advanced weapon to GCC countries, and not to make any constraints related to this weapon, and also train their armies in proper way to be at least in the level of Iranian army.
Right. Dr. Shoriba, what about the 130 billion US dollar that the Iranian government, in case of easing the sanctions, there is a risk of that the Iranian government is going to use that money on destabilizing activities, like I mentioned before, in the region. This is the main concern of the GCC countries. How is the U.S. government or the administration, as we were talking with Dr. Khoraibi, is going to be able to ease that fears? Or in other words, let me say, how is Camp David Summit is going to ease this kind of fear or those risks in the minds of the GCC? How is the summit going to ease that fears in their minds?
Okay, can I just highlight one important thing? Iran, we do have Iran, and we do have Turkey, and we do have Iraq. These 3 countries are neighbors, right? Before this, there was the Kurds country, which is being split into the 3 countries, and the Kurds were not existing. How can I let another power recognize that I am existing, and if you try to damage anything within my borders, it is easy to do it. But we are not damaging. We are giving back the rights to their people. The Kurds, they have the right to have their own country. And we, the Arab countries, should think from this point of view, okay, let's go, let's support the Kurds, let's have the country of the Kurds, and let's go for this. And United States and United Nations should support this idea, because who's going to support the Kurds? We should, as an Arabs, because we should support them. Mm. We should let the Iranian people recognize that you have stolen a part of the Kurds' countries. Turkey, you have done the same thing. Turkey was a tiny thing, just a splash of piece on the map. But the Kurds were big. Just go by history, and it's there. And history doesn't deny their rights. So one of the tools that the Arab countries should use is this way. It's not only, like Dr. Khoraibi is saying, getting weapons. Getting weapons is one. But also I should go into that detail, because I need to let them not only slow down, we need to let them and recognize that there is another power coming up, and that's the Kurds countries. The Kurds countries should come back again, because it is the backbone of the Arab countries, when we should support them. Mm. Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Oman, all the GCC, Emirates, Egypt, even Syria. Although I know the Syrian would support it, if we think positive about Syria. I'm not against the will of the people of Syria back again, but I'm supporting the Arabs' unity, and the Arab problems should be solved by the Arabs themselves. United States would do nothing. United States, they want to have them with the NATO for one simple thing. It's totally business. It's no more than this. They're going to grab, because they have the recession which is happening right now in the United States. So it's kind of business. We are used. We are used against the Iranians, against the United States. Both of them. They think we are toys to them. But I like the prince, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia. And I like King Salman when he really sent him. He wants to tell them, you better know that the young generations in Saudi Arabia is not accepting these jokes. And these jokes should end, should not continue like this.
Right. It seems from what you're saying, Dr. Shoriba, that there is a clear lack of comprehension of the depth and weight of the GCC countries. And my question is for you, Dr. Khoraibi, what needs to be comprehended by the US people regarding the GCC countries in the Middle East in general are a few important facts. Like to begin with, that the 6 GCC countries, they possess 30% of the planet's reserves of the oil, which is the main driving force for any economy. The GCC are the holders of the largest reservoir of the financial assets, measured in trillions and trillions of dollars. And the purchases of the US export goods and services by these countries are posing very good job opportunities for many Americans worldwide. In the light of all that and more, and in the context of the lack of comprehension of that particular importance of the GCC countries, and the leverage of what's happening, and the behavior or the political assessment of what's happening in the Middle East by the current US administration, there is a big risk, more than any other time in the modern history, between the US administration and the GCC countries. Is the US administration in full realization of that risk?
I am not sure about this, really, because of the situation they have now. Because if you, to answer...
Are they unaware of it, or
no,
they are ignoring
aware,
it?
They are aware, but you know, they are not confused, but they cannot do a lot, as I told you. You know, when there is a unique superpower like United States of America, and most of the second level powers worldwide, like Russia, like EU, like China, they recognize and they accept and they confirm that United States of America is the superpower of the whole world. But right now the situation is different. Russia doesn't accept anymore this alternative, and they start announcing. You can see when they were celebrating their national day, and President Putin announced that the whole world can't accept to have one superpower in the whole world. Also, EUs are trying one by one to show that they are not linked with the United States. Of course, China, they are doing the game in commercial and economic way and very, very steep and stable steps. So right now, America is facing the biggest danger in America life, which it can lead for America to lose their position in the whole world. And this can be, by the way, not after, years and years. It can be very soon. That's why I think either this administration of Obama or the coming ones, either from Republicans or the other side, or Democratic, they are looking now for the future of the United States of America. They are not, even if you look for their support toward Israel, which historical, Israel is always right. Don't ask me why. Don't negotiate this issue now. They are pushing Israel to reach to a compromise agreement with Palestinians to reach for peace. Why? Because they are fear about the United States of America itself. They are having a lot of internal problems related food, related social, stability, related many. They have a lot of problems. So I think GCC cannot depend a lot on United States of America. And they should also make some alliance with other powers like Russia and China and whatever. Also, why we should face Iran? Why? I mean, we can reach to, yes, I know that Iran is trying to do problem here and there, but let هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبين عدوك نار. I mean, this in the strategies, if you start looking to have some peace with your neighbors, I think Iran also will reply for that, because the Iranians themselves, I was in Iran about 10 years ago, and the situation was very bad. I am sure it is worse now. They are suffering now for a lot, a very big time, more than 20 years from these sanctions. Also, they want, to have some peaceful and face a safe time. For people, they want to live without stress, without
and agitation,
threatened from here and fighting there. And no, nobody, even if they are whatever. So I think the only way is, number one, for GCC countries to make their armies very strong by training and by getting them the advanced weapon in the most advanced one. This not to fight Iran, but to Iran to think 100 times before thinking to make any interfering in their internal affairs or to attack these countries. Besides that, the second strategy, the second point in their strategies, which I think is already in, is to make alliance with a super regional power like Egypt, which is exists right now. The third one, also to go to the other world powers like Russia, like China, by making this and opening the door for having peace with Iran. I think the whole area will avoid the conflict and will
Right.
avoid the violence.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, Dr. Hussein Shoriba, political analyst, and Dr. Sherif Khoraibi, member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs, the program has come to an end. Thank you very much for your time, and I guess this is where we end this edition of Windows on Current Affairs. Please to join us again next week for another new edition. Until then, that's all. Bye.